Hey there, it's that time of week where we like to tell you who won last week's prediction contest and give you a chance to send in your prediction for the upcoming big game against Georgia versus Tennessee. And if you don't already follow us, we do a weekly contest during the football season where we give out a gift card to an Athens business. Started during COVID, we continue it now. If you're interested in getting updates on that or anything Athens real estate, just market updates, new listings that come to market, information on Athens as a whole, be sure to click subscribe in the corner. And full disclosure, I went down to St. Simon's for the game. We stayed in the house with a lot of family. A couple of kids had a cough. I brought back one of the kids' cough. So this is the second attempt at recording because my first video, I just got a little too, had a cough that I had to deal with. But long and short, we're going to go through a few things. Number one, great game for Georgia, the 42-20. As you know, I put down a prediction last week that I wrote down to see what it was. I pulled it out and I predicted 31-17, which I'd almost forgotten about. If you're a friend of mine and you watch these or you already know, I was pretty nervous about last week. I just was thinking that Georgia might be overlooking the Gators. They obviously weren't. They played a great first half. Then the third quarter got a little scary. I mean, some of the biggest things to me, if you look down at the stats here, Stetson had a lot of yards, obviously had 2 interceptions. But the running game with Edwards, McIntosh, and even Branson Robinson there at the end, obviously Brock Bowers had a big day. But the defense is what was so exciting to see. I'm going to chug a little water here. And long and short, we can now start to look towards Tennessee, which a lot of fans have been wanting to do for 2 weeks. But let's talk about who won and the good predictions that we had because we had several. Nathan Harizzo had 37-16, which was good, just a little too far apart to put him in the drawing. Chad Howard, another local banker here, 45-17, which was really good, but just outside the drawing, 6 points spread difference. Now then we had Andy Hardy, who had 40-17. That was 5 points apart, and that did put him in the drawing. We had Johnny Seawright, who was a local vendor here that we use for a lot of house services, especially painting. Johnny had 41-24. That put him in the drawing with a 5-point spread. Then we had Robert Wolf had 45-17, really good, but just outside 6 points. And then Mike McGurley had 41-16, another local banker. That was another 5 points apart. So that put him in the drawing. As I mentioned on the first video, I got halfway through and then started coughing. So the actual winner was John C. Wright. If you can see there, John won. So we'll be getting in touch with John to get him his gift card. And, back to this week, one thing I want to mention is, last week we got news about Vince Dooley and his passing. It was sad to hear. Coach Dooley was a very big deal to the University of Georgia, obviously, but he was also a big part of this community here in Athens. He did a lot of great things that helped people in our community. He was a good man, and our condolences go out to him from our company and his family. And, it's just he was a great man that did a lot for the university, thereby also did a lot for Athens, Georgia, and the surrounding counties. So Vince Dooley will be missed, and, there really probably won't be another man like him as a coach and athletic director and all the great things he did and interest that he had. But let's shift our focus to the Tennessee game for a second because that's what a lot of people are thinking about. This week is going to be one of the biggest games in Athens that we've had, maybe ever. It's going to be a very hectic week for people to live here because there's going to be a lot going on. These games tend to attract a lot more fans, and it's just funny sometimes these big game weeks, they sort of become a lot to juggle for things. I think of myself, we'll be doing a tailgate. There are going to be family in town. There's a lot of events going on that I'm planning to be at, and then you still need to get your work done. So it will be funny to see because a lot of times on these big games, Friday turns into almost a non-work day for a lot of people here in Athens. But big game, SEC Nation, College Game Day, going to be the biggest of the year, 3:30 kickoff. Tennessee might be number 1 in the playoff rankings by the time we get to the game. I think they do those this week. Other than that, it's either 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3. And that's a big deal. Tennessee scored a lot of points. They look extremely good. But keep in mind, your Georgia Bulldogs are also very good on defense. This will be interesting to see. Anybody going to the game, I urge you to get loud and be loud. But I'll do like I did before. I'll write down a prediction and then just share it next week to see how far off I was. But, instead of telling you what I think right now. But one thing I do think is just to mention, yeah, of course, we want to win the game as Georgia fans. Tennessee wants to win the game. Has it occurred to you, though, that maybe losing this game isn't a bad thing because by winning the game, you more than likely just add another difficult game onto your schedule. And the way things were to roll out, if Tennessee were to lose, they might still be able to make the college football playoff without having to play in the SEC championship. Same for Georgia. It could go that way. While you definitely want to win the game, depending on how things go, it could turn out that the loser of this game actually ends up with an advantage, not having to go to Atlanta and play either possibly Alabama or maybe even LSU, another big game this week. So in the end, send us your prediction for the Georgia-Tennessee game, info@5mrealty.com. That's the best way, but you can post in the comments. It's just when you post it on social media, we will see it, but it's always a chance we could get lost because things get shared and we might miss one or two. But other than that, be sure to click subscribe if you have any interest in being notified by YouTube. And it's going to be a great week. Hopefully the weather will clear out here on Halloween, and go Dogs. And we'll look to get back with you next week after hopefully a big Bulldog win.